Welcome to Hispanic Biz Success Stories. I'm Homero Galicia. We talk with business owners who built successful businesses to learn from them their story, why they built the business, how they built the business, and their struggles and their challenges and their victories. We're pleased today to have, and very fortunate to have with us, a husband and wife team who have built a wonderful business, Icon Custom Home Builders, Mr. Carlos Garcia and Juanita Garcia. Thank you so much for being with us and taking your time.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate
Thank you for inviting us.
Well, Mr. Garcia, Carlos, tell us, what is Icon Custom Home Builder?
Icon Homes is a residential construction company. We build custom homes. We design build, meaning when clients are interested in a home, they approach us and we meet usually with my wife Juanita, and they give us their wants, their needs, their budget, and Juanita usually designs a floor plan. Go back and forth like that for a few weeks until it's the way they want it.
So you build a home for the owner?
All our houses are pretty much design builds. Yeah.
How many years you been in business?
We've been in business 14 years.
14 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we've managed to build, coming on our 300th house.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what do you do with the business, Carlos?
Now what I do, I'm limited to mostly design on exterior design, because my wife does the floor plans, and I do all the exterior elevations to achieve the look that they're going for, whether it's Tuscan or modern. Or I do that, and I supervise bookkeeping and construction, the field, stuff like that.
And Juanita, what do you do with the business?
I'm the first person usually the clients meet. I meet with our clients. They tell me where they want to live. I find a lot that's appropriate for them for their budget. And then we start the design process. A lot of the clients have their own ideas, so we put their ideas together with our ideas and we come up with a nice floor plan that's custom to them, what they're looking for.
So you focus on interior?
On the design, yes.
Yeah. So how big are you?
The company?
Yeah.
We have about 25 employees, not full-time employees, not including our subcontractors.
And how many homes do you build a year?
This year we'll be approaching 60 homes, 60 custom homes.
It's busy.
We're very busy, thank
yeah.
God. We've been very blessed that people like our product.
And you've been at that volume for a few years.
For the last...
Year one was 4 houses, and then year 2 was 8. And now last year we did 40. We're experiencing about a 50% growth per year. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So tell me, Carlos, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Socorro. I grew up in the Valley.
Okay.
I went to Socorro High School, graduated in '92, and from there I applied, and I went into the fire department.
Why'd you go in the fire department?
My dad was a fireman. He was a fireman for 28 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So growing up, I would always visit him at the station, and I knew that's what I was going to do when I grew up. So,
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So I was fortunate enough to come through the training academy and do good enough to where I got accepted and was able to make it through.
And how long were you a fireman?
I was a fireman for 18 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's almost a full career.
18
Yes.
years, too short of retirement, but
Wow.
18 years, and had a great time.
Good.
Worked with probably the best people
Sure.
I'll ever know. Yeah.
Sure. Putting out fires.
Putting out
Yes,
fires. And
everywhere.
I still do the same thing.
Still
put out
doing
fires.
it.
Down in business, that's right. And Juanita, your background, where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Five Points area. I went to Austin High School. I graduated in 1994. And from there I went to UTEP. I went to UTEP and to community college.
At the same time?
Yes.
Wow.
And I got a bachelor's in teaching. So I became a teacher.
And what did you teach?
I taught bilingual. I was a teacher for 3 years in first grade and then third grade.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty
With
neat.
all the testing. So that was
And how many years did you teach?
6 years.
Where at?
I taught at Crockett in El Paso District for 3 years as a first grade teacher, and then 3 years at Frank Macias as a third grade teacher, bilingual.
So let me ask you, well, Carlos, how did you get into building homes?
I was always into construction. It always, even as a fireman, I was moonlighting as a picking up tile work, picking up small remodels, whatever we could take on, we would do it. And even my coworkers, they would go help me work with me, but eventually, I mean, our goal was always to try and do a whole house. We built our own personal home in Socorro, and we had a great time doing it, and it turned out really nice.
So how long you guys been married?
Married 16 years, but we've been together 21 this year.
Oh, okay, fantastic. Yes. Wow. And you have children?
Yes, we have 3 children.
How old are they?
23, 16, and 13.
Wow, teenagers. Wow.
Yes, they're very good kids. We have like the best kids.
And running a full business, does that interfere?
I think that's been the hardest thing, because since we take care of, or even when we started, we would take care of everything in the business. That was hard with our kids. We got to take every single call we get so that we don't lose any clients. So it was a little bit hard, but fun, because since I could do my own schedule, so I don't have to miss any games, I don't have to miss any teacher conferences, everything. We were able to.
Wow.
That was a nice thing.
And your background, your father and mother, what did they do?
My mother was a homemaker. She stayed at home, she raised us, and my father was in construction also. Okay. He would do the drywall.
Oh, he did drywall.
Drywall.
And how many brothers and sisters?
I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers.
Okay. And Carlos, how many?
I have an older brother, and he's actually retired from the fire department as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did he get in construction too?
Yeah, he does homes. He has another company.
Really?
He also went into the building.
So what did you guys get into homes, construction?
Coming up, my dad exposed us a lot to construction in a way where every summer, I remember since I was probably 10, 11 years old, we would build, he'd buy a lot and he would build himself a rental house, like a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 1,000 square foot. And that would be our summer project, was to start and finish that home. And I remember starting the first one where he didn't know how, but he was gonna do it. So he would go and ask and eventually we'd get to the frame stage, and then we'd of course we'd call in electricians and plumbers to do their thing, but everything that we could do, we would do. And by the end of the summer, he would have his a rental. He still has them to this day.
Yeah. So you learned from the ground up.
Yeah.
So it was natural for you.
It was natural. Yeah.
And so when did you decide to start your business? Did you start the business before you left the fire department?
No. I started it while I was still there. I was remodeling, and then we got an opportunity to build a custom home. By the opportunity, I mean we were fortunate enough to meet an individual who helped us with our first construction loan, and we took that loan. We built the house. We finished the house. We opened the house that first weekend, and we sold 2-3 houses from it.
From your first house?
Yes, from the first.
You're just showing that house?
Yes.
Wow. So how did you raise the money that you needed?
I was a fireman and she was a teacher, so we had our savings from that, and a lot of it there was no money. Everything that we had, we put into the business. We didn't have anything else to fall back on other than our jobs. So, but capital, we didn't have capital.
But you had to build that house.
Yeah, we had a construction loan, and then we still had to put in money on our end.
And where'd you get the construction loan?
We got. I was fortunate enough to be introduced to George Thomas, and he's huge in the residential construction industry. He's passed away now a few years.
George Thomas.
Yes. And I met with him in a 10-minute meeting, and I showed him my plans, and he made a few adjustments, and he asked me if I was going to pay my bills, and I said yeah.
Yes.
And he said okay.
So where'd you learn accounting?
Accounting, just as we had to, I didn't learn it. We picked it up as we went through the process of getting into business, and then of course when you're in construction, you got to do your quarterlies and financials, present them to banks so that you can get other loans and stuff. So all that has been very new to us, and we didn't really have any kind of accounting to fall back on, but we did it.
We were learning as we were going.
We got QuickBooks, and that.
So you learn.
Yeah.
So
That
you
was
learned.
funny when we would. I would input something and it was wrong, and then he
It
would
was a mess
correct
because
again.
we didn't know. Yeah.
Well,
And-
it's very common. But so you helped with that too?
He would leave because you have to make sure you account for everything, for tax purposes, so you know how you're doing in the house. But yeah, he would leave me the bills there, and he'd show me how to input them. And I think the first time I went to an accountant, they were like fixing everything for us, making sure we
Yeah.
had everything correctly. But yes, I would help him.
So you jumped into business from the beginning?
From the beginning, not as much as him. I was teaching, so I would help him after school or on the weekends. Whatever I could, I would.
Did you start meeting with the clients too right away?
After he sold the first house, that's when I started meeting with clients, because that's when people wanted to design their own floor plan and do different things. So after school, I would meet with them, or Saturdays or Sundays.
And did you really like it?
I liked it. It was fun. It was something different, and doing all the research and coming up with new ideas, it was nice. It was very different. I had never done that.
But you never studied design. How did you know about colors and?
Well, at first, I did it with our first house, because we designed and we built our own house.
Okay.
But we were always just doing research to see with my first house, I think I didn't do a very good job on the paint, but then slowly I learned, yes.
So it's now something you really enjoy.
I love it.
She's really talented with the floor plans. She knows how to use the spaces, different lot widths and depths and all that. And like me, that's not my strength. My strength is more the exterior, how it's going to look from the outside. So I don't touch it until she's done with the floor plan.
You focus a lot on special ceilings, though, I noticed.
We want the house to stand out from the time you pull up on the curb to when you walk in. So a lot of the design that we do is so that we can accommodate ceiling treatments and other design features that we like to.
You
throw
go into a lot
us.
of detail with that.
We try, yeah.
That adds to the cost of the home, but what else does it add?
I found that it does add to the cost, but it also adds to the appeal. So and then we're building custom homes, so our clients, they're on their second, third home. So they know what they want, and there's a big selection for them to pick from. So we want to stand out, and we want to be their builder.
So as you're growing, it was just the two of you. Then did you start hiring people, or?
Yes, from our office. The first time we hired, was it Mikey?
We're working out of our house for the longest time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think at one point we did remodel. We combined our living room with the small office we had, so that we can bring more people in. And it was 4 of us in there. Someone who would help you with the accounting. We finally were able to hire a drafts person to work with us full time, instead of me running around going everywhere. It was just us 4 at the beginning.
And then bookkeeping,
Yeah, we had.
selections.
Yes.
Yeah.
Eventually, we needed to hire more and more people. The first few houses, I would meet with the clients and do all the selections. But then it started getting harder when I had to meet with clients, and the selections take a lot of time, because people want to be sure what they're selecting. So
I need to get into that about customers and how you take care of customers. But let me ask you, what did you learn in the fire department that helped you in business?
In the fire department, I learned a lot of management. Fire department, they train us highly on how to. As you came up the ranks, then you were a supervisor. When I left, I was a lieutenant. So we had a lot of management classes that would show you how to deal with employees, and how to discipline correctly, and what to do and what not to do, for liability purposes and stuff. So management, and then I learned how to delegate, how you can't do everything. You can't be everywhere at the same time. So you have to learn how to delegate, and that I learned about supervisors. You only want to have one supervisor, and you want to the way you direct your employees is you want to be clear on what you need them to do and make sure they got the tools to do it. I learned a lot from the fire department, and that really equipped me for dealing with the number of employees that we have now.
But you always wanted to be an entrepreneur?
Always, since I was a kid. I didn't even have a driver's license, and me and my friends, I grew up in Socorro. So Socorro was a very rural area, and the group of friends that I surrounded myself with, we all had the same goals. We all wanted money, and we all wanted to do well. So we would cut yards. We would go to the country club road, right? Load up our lawnmowers, go over there, and we'd cut those huge yards.
Yeah.
I would charge $65.
Wow, that was
and
good.
it was two of us, and it'd take us like 2-3 hours. And we'd have our yards. We'd go to Horizon City, do landscapings. All throughout high school, we did it.
So you were always turning a dollar.
My dad always told me, if you want to go to school, I'll pay for your college. Just do your research, see where you want to go. It never appealed to me.
You never college?
No, because I always knew that I wanted. I didn't mind working. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hard work. So Juanita, what is Carlos's main gift?
He's so creative.
Really?
He's very talented. He comes up with ideas out of nowhere. Like, it amazes me how or I'll show him something, goes, oh, I have something for that. But I think more importantly, he's such an honest person. He's like the best dad. He's a very honest person, and I think that's one of the reasons why we do so well.
Why is that important?
Because he takes a lot of pride in his work, and I think his honesty is so important because whenever we're working with clients, we want to give them the best, and he's always done what he can so that the client gets the best. When we're building a house, when he's working with them, when there's an issue, he always wants to resolve it so that the clients are always happy.
But isn't it expensive if somebody wants something and you start building it and then they say, no, I want it over here?
Oh, well, we can't. Once we've started, that's why the planning is very important, because we can't put the kitchen here and then say, hey, now I want it on this side. That would be very hard to do.
And that's your work at the beginning.
Yes, that's
you
why
really take time.
The floor plan is, I think, so important because you need to be patient. You need to help the client imagine, okay, you're coming in through the house. Okay, your closet's right here. You have 3 feet before another wall hits. And yeah, that's very important because, yes, we wouldn't be able to just, okay, let's move the kitchen to this side now. No, that's very hard.
So what have you learned about customers?
Customers, they're very different. Every single client is different, especially since, like Carlos said, these clients come when they've already usually built 1 or 2 houses. So usually our clients already know what they want. And actually they come up with a lot of ideas themselves. They help us, they're very creative too. So they help us create even a better project that we could have done.
So every house you do is a new configuration.
You're gonna learn something from each house, and you'll learn something from each project, whether it's on the field, an issue that we had construction-wise, or an issue that we had with a vendor or with a specific lot. So it's never the same thing. It's every week it's something different.
Let me go back and ask you a question about your mom and dad, Carlos. What did you learn from your dad?
What I learned from my parents was hard work. My parents were always trying to better themselves. They were the hardest workers that I've probably ever seen. Businesses, they started a couple of businesses, and they would a todo le tiraban. They would, whatever they thought they could do, they would do it. And that's, I think, where like me and my brother got it from too.
And Juanita, what did you learn from your parents?
From my mom, I think I learned kindness. She's a sweet person. She's very kind. And my dad's also a very hard worker. I remember seeing him leave at 6 in the morning and come back late at night. But I also learned you have to save money. You know, it's very important because my parents struggled a lot, you know, and I learned that I wanted to save money. I didn't want to have that life. I wanted to be very successful. And my parents didn't have a college education, so it was hard for them to plan, to organize. And that's one thing I learned. I wanted to be successful.
So how'd you go to college? Did you pay for that?
Student loans, yes.
Okay.
I had to get student loans because that was the only way to go to college.
And you wanted to teach?
Yes, I wanted to teach. I like kids.
So how did teaching prepare you for the business?
I think it prepared me with customer service because you deal, if you have 24 parents coming at you, if you give a homework assignment that's not good or you have to deal with a lot of parents. And be very patient. I had first graders and then I had third graders, and you have to be patient with those kids and teach them how to read. And I think patience is one of the things I learned a lot at school.
Wow, those are fascinating skills for business. So you're dealing with 40 customers at a time now?
Sometimes, yes.
Wow.
Now, we have a lot of people that help us now. And you have to remember, like, I might be working with with maybe 10 clients right now on floor plans, and then I pass them down to someone else who's now in charge of selections.
Okay. And what is your day like, Carlos?
My day consists of really doing an overall sweep, see what's going on, anybody need any help, where we're at, what we're closing, what we're starting. We organize ourselves fairly well, and we have different stages that everybody could see. We have different phases that we want to be at in certain time frames, stuff like that. It's mostly just planning ahead, planning for today, and then keeping up with the quality, keeping up with the houses, make sure everything. We have great employees, and these employees, we just didn't hire them and they became great. We went through a process where we had to hire and try different people until we found the right match. We have a foreman that's outstanding. You know, he's freed up so much of my time on the field, and that I have more time to work with the draftsmen, with the design team, and come up with newer elevations, with newer ceiling designs and stuff like that. So if you bring in good people and they work for the company, and it's to their benefit, the better the company does, they'll work wonders for you. Our office manager has taken Juanita's workload.
Samira.
Really?
Yes.
She's awesome, and she runs that place like if it's her own. Our designers, our selection staff, we even do our own grading, which is doing the cleanup, the construction debris, densities on lots, when the soil is loose. So we have our own in-house grading, and the hardest workers you're ever going to meet.
Wow. So how is it that husband and wife run a business? How is that?
That's the toughest part.
It's a little hard, but now we're used to it. I don't think
we share the same office. Ever since we started from our house, we were in the same office. And then we built an office building, and we were designing it, and I said, look, this is reception, this is design, this is me and you. And she's like, are we gonna have the same office? I said, we have to have the same office. The day we gotta have different offices, and there's no use to it.
And sometimes I'll be like, shh, when he's on the phone, or he has to be quiet,
yeah.
but
and we spend all day together. Like, we wake up, take the kids to school. Now we only have our daughter. Everybody's older now, right? We go to the gym together. We're together all day long.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
that's great.
And then we go home.
It doesn't get on your nerves.
We'd be lying, if we said no.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. We make a good team.
Well, it's fun.
Yes.
You enjoy it.
I love it.
And I
love
think
doing
it's
what
a
I
great
do.
example for our children. And sometimes they'll tell us, okay, no more houses, because then, of course, we're home and
Oh, they'll tell you.
Yes.
They get tired of us
They're-
talking because we'd be having dinner and we're like, hey, did you see how this turned out, or did you see that? And they're like, ah.
Yes, they're done with the
Yeah.
with
And
the house
I don't know
conversation.
if they want to follow in our footsteps or
well,
not. They're so
yes.
fed up with it.
Do
but
they help you in the business sometimes?
My older son, he does.
Yes.
He pretty much took over bookkeeping, and he.
Oh, good.
But he started from grading, you know, and he was a foreman for some time too, and then he got into bookkeeping, and I think that's where he shines. He does really well there.
Right. So he's good at the numbers.
Yes.
Yes.
But he knows the field as well.
Yeah. He started from the bottom. Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. So tell me, Carlos, what is the most satisfying thing for you in building your business?
I think seeing the final product. I think, or we'll build model homes. We'll build model homes so that we get a chance to do our own house the way we would do it, and we'll furnish those model homes, and when we have complete control, they come out really nice, and a model will keep it for a year, right? And then the next year we'll do another one, and that one is so much different and we've only gone a year, you know, and
Wow.
yeah. So for me, I really enjoy design. I really like it. I have no background or experience in it formally, but I think I do pretty well at it.
Wow. So what's a big thrill for you?
I think I love meeting people. I talk a lot to people all the time. Like he says, I turn a 20-minute conversation into an hour, and I like it when the clients are happy with the final product. We've become friends with a lot of our clients, and I think to see how happy they are from when we started. Some clients come and bring me a design and a paper, and to see the final product, it's very nice. I like it when we go somewhere and for whatever reason they find out that we're Icon, and they're like, "You're Icon? I love your homes." I mean, I like knowing that people follow us, that they know who we are, because it's nice. They recognize us. And right now there's so many builders out there that to be recognized like that, it's an honor.
So you get close to your customers.
To a lot of them, yes.
And Carlos, you interface with the customer just as well.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I'll meet with them prior to the house getting started for a design build, and it kind of sets a pace because the whole time they've been dealing with Juanita, and then once they agree, that plan goes into the final stages, and we lose probably about 3 to 4 weeks before we have a permit. So there's a gap. So right when we get a permit, then I'll bring them in and I'll talk to them and I'll get them ready for. I'll tell them what to expect. I'll say, okay, we have your permit, the loan's ready, so we're about to start. And then I'll ask them a lot of questions and make sure that they've thought out different upgrades, water softeners, stuff like that.
Every detail.
Every detail, the client decides what they want.
How long does it take to go through that process?
It could take up to a month, but usually after the first meeting, I can send them a draft in about a week.
That's a floor plan.
That's their floor plan. And after that, they look at it. I think I'm getting better at reading what the clients want and designing it since we've done so many. So about a week, I'll send them their first sketch, and it's just a floor plan. It has nothing to do with what the outside of the house is gonna look. And then they look at it, and they say, well, I know I want this room bigger. I didn't like it on this side. Let me move it this way. So we go back and forth a couple of times until it's almost perfect the way they want it.
So at what point, Carlos, do they come in and look at the elevation or the exterior? Because you're doing the interior, correct?
Yes.
Once the floor plan's been determined, then we'll get their wants. Are they traditional? Do they like modern? Do they like contemporary, transitional? And sometimes they'll tell us, we saw the house that you built for so and so and we loved it, or we saw this and we didn't like this but we like that. So then the next step is the exterior design, is the elevations, and that's what I do with the design staff, and that can go back and forth a couple of times too. Usually 2 or 3 times, and then we get it where they want it. Once that's done, then the plans go to final, which that's where they finalize the plans so that they can submit them for permits with the city, and we get our foundations designed and our trusses designed. And that when that's complete, then we break ground. We get a permit, we got our loan, we break ground, and then we'll start with the house. Once we start, we can usually have a house within 4 to 5 months. It doesn't matter if it's 5,000 square feet or 2,500 square feet. Usually the process will take that long.
Now you walk into a home that's being framed, and that you see the home from the frame, right?
That's my favorite stage, the frame stage. I see so many possibilities in that stage. I mean, even when they're not my houses and I'm driving by, I'm looking. I'm looking. I'm like, they could do this, they could do that.
Yes, he'll come and tell me, oh, they did that wrong.
Well, it's not so much that, but I really enjoy seeing houses go up, and that's always gotten my attention. But frame is where everything happens. I mean, that's where you can. That's where you put in your wall factor and your ceiling details, and you make use of all the area that you have.
I bought a home that was built by a builder, and the windows aren't square and the doors aren't square, and
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Well, it might have been when it was new.
yeah. Oh, maybe that's true because it's an older house,
Yeah.
so that's true. So, what kind of challenges have you faced in building your business?
With challenges, it's always been to stay ahead of the curve. It's always been we're planning not only the next month or the next quarter, but into the next year with lot allocation, how many lots, what type of lots, what's going to be available. Challenges, it's always staying ahead of the curve design-wise. You always don't want to get in a rut. You always want to do whatever's now with the internet and Pinterest and all the resources that are available. Tastes change real quick, and houses change really fast too. So we just try and keep up with it.
So, who wants a custom home?
Everybody would love a custom home, I think. But we have a lot of first-time home buyers. Now we started another line that's semi-custom, and we have a lot of clients looking at that line. But the full custom home, a lot of clients, it's their second or third home, and they've already had the two-story that didn't work for them, or that house that they just bought because they needed a house at that time. But when it comes to custom, they've really thought about it. They know exactly what they want, and those are the clients we want. That they have very high expectations.
This is the home of their dream.
Yes, sir, it is.
And what's a semi-custom?
Semi-custom, I still let them design the plan how they want it. It's when it comes to the selections that they don't have as many selections as my custom builders. Maybe they only have 3 cabinet designs instead of whatever they would love. They only have certain tile selections instead of telling them they could go to either one of our offices where they do the tile selection and they could pick anything. So it's
I think the amenities are a little bit on a different level.
Yes.
So that we can be at their price point.
Tell me about the quality. When you build a home, what?
The quality is it's the easiest to accomplish, really, because you're doing the quality from. We're the ones that are in charge of building the house, so we're the ones in charge of the quality. So that's from day one. I mean, that's from the foundation. That's to the condition of your job site. Framing wise, make sure all your cuts are tight. Everything's braced. We pass inspections like everybody else here in El Paso, but that's where we want to keep a sharp eye to make sure everything's ready for the next stage and the next.
And
stage.
that's what you keep in charge
At
of.
this point now, really, it's my foreman. He's in charge of all construction because I'm more in the office.
And once the home starts going up, Juanita, do you get involved once the home starts going up?
Well, a lot of clients still call me for their selections, that they need help selecting things. And once in a while I will go. I always go to the job site just to check to see how the plan came out, to make sure that we give them enough space and to get different ideas, because maybe it worked or maybe an idea didn't work. I like to see how the plans are coming out once they've hit the field. But we have someone else in charge of making selections. So once we're done with the floor plan, then I really don't get to meet with the client that much.
So how many hours a day are you working?
Nowadays, it's not as much. When we were getting started, it was 6-7 days a week, you know. And we were so into getting this business off the ground that we were constantly at it.
How long did it take you to get the business off the ground?
I think we're still getting.
We're still working on that.
No, I think probably the past 3 or 4 years, ever since I resigned from the fire department and I had more time, I think that's when we got it into more control because I had more time and I wasn't constantly running around.
So how many years have you been in this business now?
14, so it took us about 10 to get it squared away the way we wanted.
And you already had children when you started the business.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And you had another
But
one.
at first it was, I think that was one of the hardest things because I had my 3-year-old and I had just stopped working as a teacher. So I would take her everywhere with me, to the city to submit plans. I mean, she was with me everywhere. On the weekends when I was gonna meet clients, thank God for my mother-in-law because I think she had a big part because I had babies and I knew they were fine with her, but sometimes Sundays, they would stay with her all day because that Sundays are the days that clients can meet because they're off work. Or on Saturdays, and I had to leave them with her. So she raised my babies, so I was blessed with my mother-in-law. She helped us a lot in our business.
She's still to this day.
She's still to this day, right now she's picking up my daughter.
Really?
And when I get there, she's already gonna be fed.
Wow.
You know, so
It's extended family.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
she's had a
So
big
that's one of the
part.
challenges.
That I think has been one of the biggest challenges.
How about husband and wife working together? What's that like?
Boundaries. Like that's the hardest part, right? Is we struggled a lot, and I think I don't know. A few years back, we kind of established some boundaries where I don't get involved with her floor plans, with her sales.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then, by the same token, she wouldn't get involved with my construction
So
so if
I
we
won't
said,
go and yell at them. No, yes.
and then I try to keep her out of the job sites, right?
Okay.
But at the same time, I would respect her field. You know what I mean? So if we kind of established boundaries, and that reduced a lot of the tensions or the problems that we would have. But she's always on call. I mean, she's in high demand, and her phone is nonstop.
My phone number for my personal cell is the number that's out there. So nowadays, like before, even when we were eating dinner, anytime that phone would ring, I would take that call. And I still do. I mean, if now when we're eating dinner, I won't answer it, but I will return the call as
But
soon.
she wants to, though. You
But
can
I
tell
want
she
to.
wants to.
I want to answer that call.
So I called the general number today and you answered. That was your number.
Yes, that's my phone number.
That's why you answered.
Yes.
Interesting. So you're very personal with your customers.
Yes. Oh, yes. I want to make sure they get good customer service. And I think that's one of the things that clients like, that they know that when they call, they're talking to the owners. I mean, it's my company. I take it, anything that happens in that company, I take it very personal.
Well, you know, you're doing 40 homes this year. Is that what you're saying?
We'll reach almost 60.
Almost 60 homes this year.
Yeah.
At the same, so it takes 5 months to build a home.
Right.
So you're finishing, what, 2 a month, 3
One
a
a
month?
week. Yeah.
1 a week.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's
That's
a lot compared to 3 when we started.
But I think at that time when we were doing 3, it felt like 50 probably, because
Yeah.
it was us doing every stage of the process.
And how involved are your children?
My children, they really don't want to have anything to do with the construction. But they will tell me, Mama, or like they'll call when we're on vacation, and I'll take the call and they're like, we're on vacation, don't answer, we're on vacation. But I always want to know what's going on.
So what role do they play?
They don't like it. They don't like me answering the phone all the time.
Sure.
But now my daughter, she's my little secretary. This whole month, these last 2 months, she was on vacation. Yeah, I'll text this to this client, and she would answer. She would reply to them. She would hang out with us at the office.
How old is she?
She's 13.
Okay, and then the next oldest is?
16. Eddie.
And what does he do? Go to school too?
He
a
wants.
gamer.
He's a gamer.
Oh,
He likes playing video games.
He's gonna be an engineer and design video games.
Yeah.
But no, Eddie really doesn't want to have anything to do with the construction.
Well, that's what he says now.
That's what he
We'll
says
see.
now. We'll
Yeah.
see.
and
But-
then you have another one.
Yeah, he's 23, and he's actually 2 weeks from graduating the training academy for the fire department.
Fire department.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he'll be third generation.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're fireman. Wow. Bomberos.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he does a lot of the bookkeeping.
Why did you name your business Icon?
We didn't want to name like C and J or we wanted a name that was more original, and we were applying for the LLCs, and we had time constraints on finding a name. But I told her, I said, you know what, we just can't come up with one. So we just waited, and eventually it came to us in a conversation that we're having.
We were eating at Chico's.
Ah,
Don't you remember the song that came out?
Yeah, they had the jukebox, and I think they played a Vicente song.
Ah.
And everybody got a pep in their step, and I said, oh, this guy's like an icon, this guy, he gets everybody going, and I said, hey, that's it, that's the name right there. Yeah.
So how does that relate to the business?
An icon, I think, it's where you want to be. I think it's a symbol,
Sure.
Yeah.
And be admired.
Yeah.
But what's unique about your business? What's the difference between a custom home builder and a non-custom home builder?
The non-custom home builders, they'll design one plan and they'll probably do that plan like all 10 lots that they have. And you usually get a selection to pick this elevation or this elevation. And
They're more production.
Yes.
They build hundreds of houses. That's their area. We could never compete with.
Yeah. The elevation is the exterior look.
exterior of the house, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
But you like doing custom. Why do you like custom?
Oh, that's custom is I mean, if you're gonna go work and not enjoy what you do, then it's just work. But for us, I mean, we've been at this for a long time to get it to the point. And I mean, that's what I do. I build houses. I love building houses.
And it's a nice feeling when you get to the house and you're like, look how beautiful it came out. Yesterday he was showing me a picture, because he's always going through pictures. And he showed me a picture of a kitchen. And I was washing dishes and I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. Look at that tile, look at those cabinets. And then he's like, look at it again. And then I look at it, he goes, we built that house. That's one of our houses. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So, because he's always, look, I just found this, I just found that. And,
Wow.
and I was like, oh my God. It's one of our houses.
Right.
Wow.
And I had no, and I wasn't, I didn't, where'd you get it from? Our Instagram account?
Instagram, yeah.
But it's a nice, I couldn't believe that it was one of our houses.
Have
so.
you gotten some awards?
I don't think there's very many to give, right?
No.
Not very many awards, but a lot of pats on the back, and yeah.
And where do your customers come from? How do they find out about you?
At the beginning, it was a lot of word of mouth, because we didn't do any advertising. We barely had enough to build a house, but I think the clients would refer us to. I remember we built a house for a fireman, and we built a house for his nephew and then his mom. We built a house for a couple of clients twice already.
Right, yeah.
So it's clients refer us to other clients, and
I think the more houses that we have now, because we're approaching the 300, and so I think there's more exposure out there, and more people are.
and now there's Instagram and
Yeah.
Facebook, so that's
So
helped
you
a lot.
really had to structure your staff to handle the growth.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's a big part, or else we wouldn't be able to and not only handle the growth, but handle it efficiently, and where a floor plan change doesn't take 2 weeks. It takes a couple of days, and then we get it out. So when a client comes to us and they're interested in building, we're gonna move. We're gonna move, and we're not gonna have them waiting too long. We're gonna strike while the fire's hot.
So you guys are moving.
Oh yeah.
But we have great people working with us.
That's critical.
Yes.
But you're doing something special now. You're doing something with a lot that you have. What is it that you're doing?
We're gonna donate. We're gonna build a home, and the original idea was this: is that we also build investment property for ourselves, and we have a couple lots in Socorro, and those were next for us to start some investment properties. But we had one in particular that we spoke, and I said, you know what, it'd be pretty easy for us to build it and complete it and give it away to a family, that's in need, that's had something tragic happened to him. And that's how the idea started. So we agreed, right? And we went forward, and Paso Times went and did an article on it, and it came out. And when it came out, I started fielding calls from vendors, from subcontractors saying they wanted to contribute.
Really?
Fielded a call from a concrete company. Says, I want to put in all the concrete.
And it's a different concrete company that we don't even use.
Yeah, but he read the story, and you know, he thought it was I guess he was touched, and so now, I mean, we're looking at everybody's contributing. Now it's a huge team effort, and it's gonna happen probably even quicker, and hopefully it goes off well, and we'll be able to, you know, hopefully do another one.
So why'd you want to give a home away?
We're just so blessed. You know, we've had a lot of help. We have healthy children. I think it's time for us to give something back to the community now that we can.
It comes really natural for us to do to build, and then especially, you know, this isn't like a 3,000 square foot house. This is like a 1,200 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but it's brick. You know, it's all tile, refrigerated air, Energy Star. You know, it's still it'll be a great helping hand to somebody, and we're hoping, you know, we get it to the right family.
How are you doing the selection process? That's got to be tough.
That's what we're not looking forward
yes,
to. Yeah.
that's going to be, I think, the hardest thing to do.
Sure. But you know, how did this spring up in your heart? That's what's interesting. How did that?
I couldn't tell you. I think everybody asks us the same question. It's like why we're doing it, but I think why not is a better question. You know.
Okay, why not? That's yeah.
And he's been thinking about it for a while.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so now
We
this
just
is
finally said, let's do it.
And then now it's turned into like our whole company's into it, right? All our employees are into it.
Sure.
They're excited about it. Our vendors are excited about it. Our subcontractors are dying to get it going. You know, so it's not now, instead of me and Juanita doing it, it's like our whole company plus our vendors and subcontractors.
What's your whole team?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to help.
And not only that, but everybody's excited for it, right? Yeah.
Sure. Well, that's fast. Well, because there's so much need here too,
Yes.
and you know that. You've seen that.
We grew up around it. Yeah, we've seen it.
It doesn't change a lot, does it?
Right.
It's tough. But you've been successful. You know why? Why have you been successful? Can you tell me?
I mean, this is something that we've thrown everything into it, and I'm glad that it turned out the way it has. But I mean, Juanita, when I met her, one of the things that attracted me the most was that she was a go-getter, you know. And with her by my side, we've been able to do a lot, you know.
Yeah, that's nice to say.
Yeah.
And what did he bring to the table?
It's like I tell you, I think he has so much integrity. Carlos will.
And we both do.
We
you know.
both do,
Yeah.
but I remember growing up, I told you my dad was in drywall, and there was times that they just wouldn't pay him. Even though he had worked all week, no, the check's not ready. And we have always made sure that we're always there for our workers, you know, for everybody that's working with us, and we're there for our clients. I think that's one of the reasons we're so successful, is because everything that we've done, we take a lot of pride in it.
Sure.
And it's like Carlos, we were talking about it today, and we have no problem facing every single client we've ever built a house for. We would never have to hide from anybody. We could look at everybody in the eye and be proud of what we've done because we've done a good job.
Wow. So what's tomorrow? What's like tomorrow?
I don't know what is tomorrow. Like I said, I mean, we're in a great position. I really enjoy what I do, and I enjoy the people that I work with. We have a great family life, right?
It's
Our kids
fun.
are doing great. I mean, we're just gonna keep on hustling, you know, keep on going and building and try and keep up with the demand.
Sometimes husbands and wives get in the business and can't stand each other.
We've had our ups and downs, but we've always managed
We
to.
love each
Yeah,
other. No, It's hard. I'm not going to tell you it's not hard.
But you've made decisions to keep it. How you know, you've had to come to a place where you know when to do what. How do you?
I think since we each have our own role,
Yeah.
I think I'm always in meetings with clients, and Carlos is always either on the field or taking care of whatever we have to do in the office or with the draft people, that we really don't have to. I don't have to be in his decisions, and he doesn't have to be in my decisions. So we each.
But we still cross paths every once
Sometimes, yes, and that's when we have to.
Yeah, but we also made the decision that we're not gonna split up into different offices, and we're not gonna go into each other's roles. You know, we made the decision we're gonna work together, and that's how it's gonna work.
You collaborate and you communicate.
All
All
the
day
time.
long. Every day.
That's really neat. And on weekends too.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
on weekends too.
Yeah.
Well, that's neat. So what message do you have for people in business or starting a business?
Just pick something you enjoy doing. You know, do your best. Throw everything you got at it. When we started, we didn't have any capital, and 2 years after it, we still didn't have capital because we started building more, and there went all your money. You know, because they never lend you enough to build the whole house. So I mean, if you're gonna do something, you gotta throw 100% of yourself into it, and be honest, you know, and respect other people in that same profession.
Did you have major crisis in building the business, major obstacles?
I think no. I mean, at first we couldn't until we got the funding, because at first maybe you tried a couple of banks and we just didn't.
Yeah, lending was tough because we didn't have any background, any history. So it was week to week. You know, everybody got paid, but you know, some weeks it was tighter than others.
So you built your first house for a client. That client came to you because you were remodeling, right?
No, the first house, it was just a spec. It was
It was
for
a spec.
nobody. That's where
Oh,
we
really?
got to.
Oh, okay.
Right.
We sold it that weekend when we opened it.
Yeah.
You built it.
And the first weekend when we finished cleaning it, it sold.
Were you already selling it, or I mean?
Yes.
I mean,
Well,
you
we hadn't even put signs out. I mean, we just had probably the sign outside, but we hadn't
Right.
even contacted anyone to help us sell it or anything, and it was sold.
And somebody showed up and liked it.
Yes.
A few people showed up, and then a couple wrote a contract on it, and then other people that had seen it, they contacted us and said, "Well, we're interested, so we sold it." So, well, let's talk, you know, and then those went on to other sales.
So from that first house, you got, and then it just started to
Yes.
grow.
To this day, yeah.
And the financing started to come.
Yes.
Because we built a history, you know. Our credit was always good. Our credit was never bad. So, and then once we got a couple houses under our belt, then the local banks started.
Westar Bank was the first
Yeah.
bank to help us.
Yeah, one bank in particular was
Wow.
very helpful.
And they still work with you.
Oh
To
yes,
this day, yeah, Henry.
Henry Tinajero.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
He was the first one to believe in us.
yeah.
Because I remember sending him our first financials, and then he called back. He said, "Well, we need to fix this." I didn't know anything about how a bank expects financials, so
Right.
we just printed something out of QuickBooks, I think, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Okay, that doesn't look good. Let's go back." And but he was the one who first helped us.
Well, that's. So you're building this year. You say 60 homes,
Yeah.
and what are you looking for next year?
I don't
As
know.
much
I
as
mean,
we
we're just
can.
trying to keep up here. We try and service everybody and keep up with everybody's demands, and we're right there where we need to be. I think
That's a lot of work.
It is.
we have great people, you know, great people that work for us.
Well, what's interesting is the custom side. I mean, you go in and you really do something special for each of your customers.
Yeah,
But that's a lot of work.
It is, but
we got it down pretty good to where our selection staff also does a great job, you know, and they know what we expect, and they're professionals, you know, they do really good. We can't be everywhere at once, so we have to trust in them, and we do.
So you really built a good team.
Very good team.
Well, that's
Everybody at our office they're all hardworking people.
well. You work hardworking, and so I've learned today about Icon Custom Home Builders. I appreciate you, Carlos and Juanita, for sharing your story with us. It's a fascinating story, and there's a lot more to be told. You know, a lot more story there. But we really appreciate you sharing your story. I've certainly enjoyed it and learned a lot. And we trust that you viewers have enjoyed it. And stay tuned for our other shows. But thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for viewing. Have a good day.